Let's do this. The Cult of Hockey podcast by the faithful and for the faithful. I'm David Staples of the Edmonton Journal, and I'm here today with Bruce McCurdy. Hey, Bruce.
Hey David, how you doing tonight?
I am doing okay. Um, I know that
I'm
you.
not.
I know you're a little
I'm
sour because of
I'm
that
gr-
game,
I'm grumpy. I'm grumpy after that game.
Bruce. I was just glad they got a point out of it, man. I was like,
Hmm.
you're down by a goal. No matter how you got there, you fight back from a 2-0 deficit. And are you, Bruce?
Um,
Did you do something to your camera? There you
hmm.
go. Fight back from a 2-0 deficit and tie the game. You get down another goal. Like there was some horrible moments on that goal against, but you tie it again and you get a point out of it. Now there was again another horrible moment in overtime. I guess the reason to be sour is each of the four goals against was kind of uniquely horrible. Each of them was full of brain cramps,
Hmm.
and one of them was a brain cramp, frankly, by the coach. And we're going to talk about that. I think as much as anyone because this has been an ongoing issue that he has yet to solve. This is our two good things, two bad things, and two numbers podcast about Edmonton's 4-3 overtime loss to the Anaheim Ducks. Bruce, what is your good thing?
Well, I'm going to go with the newcomers at forward, especially Tyler Ennis, who I thought shone in his first game as an Oiler. To me, he was the best Oiler on the ice, the most consistently guy taking the puck hard to the net and not screwing up when he didn't have the puck. That's a rare combination. And uh, he made a beautiful deflection on the first Oiler goal that got them back in the game, and it was his shot to the drive to the net and shot from outside that somehow got through John Gibson and allowed the rebound for his brand new line mate Andreas Athanasiou to tap home for the 3-3 goal and the point. Now Oilers did deserve 1 point. They were the better team on the night,
They were.
uh, by shots and by scoring chances and so on. Um, but I don't think they deserve both points because I didn't think they played all that smart. But anyway, they did get the one. It would have been a real piss off if they got come out of that game with nothing. But it's anyway. The two new guys came through. Each set up the other guy with the primary assist and a goal. Because it was Anasiu's beautiful pass through a guy's skates that Ennis tipped home for the first goal, and then he returned the favor by going hard to the net himself and finding that puck and in the edge of the inside the blue paint and tapping it home. So they delivered as promised and then some. I mean, goal and assist is a good game for any player at any time. So
17 grade A chances for the Oilers, Bruce, 11 for
mhm.
Anaheim. And that was a very tantalizing game because it left me imagining if Yamamoto was there. I mean, he really is a huge factor on that second line, obviously. They really missed him. But if
Well
he
said.
was there, and you have that first line, which was
Hmm.
I thought was great. I thought McDavid on the attack
Hmm.
was fantastic tonight. On the attack, there was a few defensive issues, but yeah, it makes you wish they had signed Tyler Ennis this summer, this past summer. Now, of course, he had a big game, and it's he himself said he was doing it on adrenaline.
Right.
But he's a very fast player. He's Yamamoto like, right? Like he's a very kind of Yamamoto like speedy, skilled, aggressive hockey player, smaller hockey player. So yeah, I agree with you. Excellent game from him and Athanasiu also. Aside from one situation where twice he should have shot the puck and he passed it
Yes.
instead,
Yes.
he also played well. So
Hmm.
yeah, that was pretty good. And I thought Mike Green um, had his moments, strong moments with the puck. Maybe a few defensive
Nice
breakdowns.
passer.
Yeah, a nice passer of the puck. Bruce, my good thing is Ethan Bear, and with Clefbaum out especially, he he is just such a dominant puck mover right now. He is so good with the puck. just again and again and again. Play after play after play.
Hmm.
He would have his head up, his eyes up, and he would shimmy and shake and make a move and do some great skating and fire off a great pass. And his play on the power play, I thought was, and I'm not just saying this because I advocated for so hard for him to be
On the
on the power play.
on the 2-2 goal. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
key on
what
that.
it he knocked it down a couple times. He made really tough plays at the blue line a couple times to control the puck and passed it in to I think it was McDavid for the uh, who kicked. That was the sequence of joy on the tying goal on the second goal for the Oilers. So
Hmm.
yeah, Bear had a few bad defensive moments. He was a culprit on a couple goals against, but I don't think he was the main culprit. By the time he was asked to make a play and he failed to make it both times, there had been multiple
Right.
horrendous mistakes by other players. So although he was out
He
there,
failed to clean up the mess as opposed
yeah,
to causing the actual mess.
yeah, he didn't play the sweeper role. He didn't give it the old Franz Beckenbauer and stop the goal at the final second. But he he has been so crucial to the Oilers this year, and he just again showed his quality in this game. He is a really good NHL hockey player. So glad he's an Oiler. Anything?
Yeah. What's not to like? I mean, he's learning. He's getting better and better. I spoke about him at length after the last game, and I'd single him out for his excellent play. And as you say, I mean, you look at the event summary, and you see he's got three giveaways, more than anybody else on the Oilers. But I bet you he handles the puck more than anybody else on the Oilers over the course of the game too. And you might think, well, McDavid and Draisaitl have it more, but I'm not sure they have it more often. They
No,
may have
I
it
think
for
he.
longer, but I think the puck goes through Bear's stick an awful lot over the course of,
Oh, no
27
doubt
minutes
about
of
it.
ice time, so the odd time it's going to wind up on the other team's stick. And I guess the question is it a giveaway, one that causes immediate grief, or is it just something where he tries to get it out of the zone and they keep it in, but nothing comes out of it. So anyway, uh, he was also putting up the crooked numbers in the shots on goal tonight, seven shot attempts from the blue line. So he was quite active in that game for sure.
Bruce, what is your bad thing tonight?
Well, I'm betwixt and between, but I think I'm just going to go with all the goals against. I hated them all.
That's
I
four
mean,
bad things, Bruce.
yeah, I know.
You're stretching it, but I'll let you get away with it.
Well, Dave Tippett in his post game called it a cluster. What happened on I think he was talking about the second goal, but it really could have been any of them. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like they lost their defensive discipline and they just kind of lost their way. And it was, I mean, the first goal, Riley Shane gives the puck away in the corner to a guy, and the guy comes out of the corner, goes through the slot, goes into the front of the net, and chips the puck home. And I don't think he ever had two hands on the stick. And he beat four Oilers on the play, four guys that either just skated by him, nobody touched him, nobody, challenged him for the puck, or to get in his way or anything. Just sort of, oh well, next guy will get it. Next go, it's in the net.
Including
And
Smith, Bruce.
Mike Smith, who's trying to poke check the guy when, it's a one-handed shot that beats him. And the reason it beats him is because he's moved his blocker because he's mistimed the poke check. And he just out hustled four different Oilers, one guy. Now, Sonny Milano playing his first game for Anaheim Ducks, he was highly motivated, as we saw from Oilers' own Tyler Ennis tonight. He was clearly pumped. I mean, I think there was eight guys in this game who played the first game for their new team because I'm pretty sure Anaheim had five, and I know Edmonton had three. And so it was a weird game, and some of the lack of teamwork on Edmonton's side of the puck was probably because of that. I mean, one of the culprits on that first goal was, to me, Mike Green, that just the guy skated right by him, and he kind of cruised away and took Ryan Getzlaff out in the high slot while the goal scorer just went right through him. put the puck in the net. So that was ugly. The second goal, possibly even uglier. I counted 5 mistakes by the 5 skaters. Every one of them did a different mistake. Josh Archibald made a terrible line
Yeah.
change. Nuge lost a battle where he just didn't really engage. And then they had uh,
Draisaitl was dead on the back check.
dry settle with a weak back check where we've seen that before. And Nurse just backed away from the slot while the goal scorer came in 5 feet in front of him and put it home. Like, I don't know what Nurse thought he was covering there. And then Bear allowed the pass. So we have 5 mistakes and 5 different codes, which you don't see that every day. Usually at least a couple of them are making the same, beat the same way. But
Bruce,
no.
and then Nurse on the third goal, like the
Hmm.
play Nurse made on the boards on that third goal against. I mean, uh, come on, what are you
Yeah.
doing? Like, why are you going and hitting the boards? Like, you didn't even cream someone. Like, wasn't even for you didn't even take yourself out of the play with the big hit. You
Mhm.
took yourself out of the play with the no hit,
Right.
and then Draisaitl and Bear couldn't contain the damage, but yeah, not a great night.
And the fourth one was, of course, the power play goal in overtime after the McDavid penalty. And it wasn't as egregious a defensive coverage as really all three of the regulation goals. But the fact is that Adam Larson got himself on the wrong side of the goal scorer and decided to hit him in the back as opposed to, his stick, the one thing you can score the goal with, take that maybe. And Nurse got beat on that one as well. Nurse had a pretty tough night, man.
Even on that one, that was not great defending down low
What's
by
not?
either Nurse or Larson. So it
Nope.
was it was also in the category of the cluster blank.
Yeah.
Um,
It's pretty
Bruce,
stinky defending, and
yeah, Archibald's line change on that second one. Whoa. But on the second one, Draisaitl had a chance to get it deep at one point, and he failed to, and then they came back on the Oilers' end. I think it was even before they got it out again. Like, it was just this endless, horrendous shift, and ended in it was one of the longest sequences of pain we've seen this year. Bruce, my bad thing is Dave Tippett, and I'm singling out the coach tonight because there is an ongoing issue in overtime with McDavid and Draisaitl overstaying their welcome and not shifting off.
hmm
And I'll tell you what, after about 50 seconds or after about 45 seconds on the ice, both McDavid and Draisaitl had opportunities to get off
yep,
the ice, and
they
neither
did.
one did. And at
Yep,
this point, that's on the coach.
yep,
At
I
this
agree.
point, if he has not, how many games and how many overtimes has this been? So McDavid took his penalty at 105 of overtime.
hmm
What were the other numbers you were mentioning last week when the goals against
Well,
came?
114, 113, 109, and 114. And tonight's
So
penalty officially came again at 109. So basically 70 seconds into overtime, and one of the or both of the defensive culprits on the 4 goals and the penalty tonight are players that played the entire 70 seconds and were sucking wind and got beat.
you can't have that. And this at this point, this is on Dave Tippett. He, I mean, don't put those guys out for overtime if they're not listening to you at this point. Don't put
Yeah,
them out.
start a
Send a
different line.
message.
Start a
Start a
different
different line.
line.
Put
The
out
other
if
team
that
starts a different line, and then the second line scores because they're going against tired Oilers.
And now they got guys. They got Ennis and Athanasiou. They've got Nugent Hopkins. There's players they could put out there. And so if it's the players who aren't listening to you, but if you're
Mhm.
still allowing this at
Yeah.
this point, what are you doing as a coach? You're giving away points. You're
Yeah, they
giving
got to.
away valuable points. Tippett gave away. That's on him. He gave away some valuable points tonight. Shame on the coach for not getting on top of this. And you know, if they're out of the playoffs by 1 point, I mean, he look in the mirror because you're not focusing on it, what is a huge problem at this point.
Well, they've, of their last 6 games that were decided in overtime, there was a couple shootouts in there. Went 5 minutes without a goal. But the last 6 that were decided in overtime, the Oilers lost 5. And in all 5 of them, they either gave up the goal or tonight they took the key penalty at that exact same point at the end of a long shift against fresher opponents than they were. And they got to wake up to it, man. They got to. I mean, they're great players. Don't get me wrong, but they're not entitled to play the whole overtime. If they're not able to play it at top speed, and the last 30 seconds they were without the puck. And McDavid, as you say, he was right in front of the bench at about the 50-second mark, and I thought he'd gone off, and then a few seconds later, there he is behind the net, still out there and taking a penalty. Ouch.
And don't get me wrong, Tippett's a great coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's done
Oh,
a
of course.
fantastic job this season with
This is a
this team.
specific criticism.
Yeah, I mean, all year long I've been praising him, especially for for two things. That up the middle pass, which actually led to the first goal against when Shane bobbled it. But
Mm-hmm.
usually that works, and it's been working all year long. It worked again this game, all game long. And his ability to find the right combinations and roles for different players is fantastic. His ability to get these players working hard game after game after game has been really fantastic. This is a really hardworking team that goes for it and works hard and plays smart hockey, and it's been very impressive all year long. But man, that's whoa! Like, do they not have a postmortem where they go over what went wrong and figure like
I'm
after three
starting to
games you'd
wonder.
think, eh?
I'd be running the tape on all five of those games and seeing what happened, what the common point is. And I mean, we know that what the common outcome is. Well, why did it get to that point? And why did the other team have fresher players than Edmonton in 5 out of 5 situations?
Yeah. What
Simple
is
as
your
that.
number, Bruce?
Oh, number. Yeah.
You want me to go?
Yeah, you go first. Sorry.
My number, it's Ethan Bear's ice time in the last three games, 26:51.
Mm-hmm.
This game, 25:11 and 26:58. So he's playing right now with Clefbaum out as much as any defenseman in the NHL.
Hmm.
And pretty impressive how he's playing hockey. He's getting the job done. So, I mean, I raved about him earlier, so I don't have much more to say, but that's a lot of ice time. Those are a lot of hard minutes. He's playing on the PK, power play, tough minutes at even strength. Sign this man up. Sign this man up to a long term. If you can get a Clefbaum deal, what was
Yeah.
Clefbaum? 7 years at 4.167.
Yeah.
You can
Right
get
after his ELC. In fact, signed before his ELC even ended.
Yeah, if you can get like the pro rated, whatever that would be now, that 4.167 on Bear, I think it would probably be about what 4.6, 4.7 over
Mm-hmm.
7 years, probably.
Yeah,
I'm
at
just
least.
guessing.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you can get him for anything under five on a like a 7 year contract, just do it.
He sure looks like the real deal, doesn't he?
He does,
Like
Bruce.
it's not like he's just on a hot streak and the midnight's going to come and he's going to turn into a pumpkin. There's no evidence of that within Ethan's game. He has his occasional tough nights, but he bounces back and he's still playing a lot of very good hockey deep into the season, even with this huge load of minutes.
Bruce, I think
So,
he's a better player than Clefbaum was when they gave Clefbaum that deal. Like I think he's a more effective player.
hmm
Then just look at his work on the power play tonight. I mean, if he's used there eventually, he's going to be able to be successful because he's a really skilled attacker. I mean, that was a great audition for him tonight in that role. He did very well, I thought. And um, man, yeah, I guess they know Ethan Bear, of course. They know him well enough. They should know him by now, and they'll make their decision. But I'd love to see him sign long term. What is your number?
well, I'm going to go with 61%, which was the Oilers on the face-off circle tonight. It's like a part of the reason they controlled the puck for much of the game was dominance right off the dot, and especially Connor McDavid, 11 out of 13, 85%. And Leon Draisaitl with his usual huge workload, 24 draws, 14 wins, 58%. And Leon's been taking close to half the faceoffs in many of these Oilers games. So I expect now that McDavid's back, that'll level out a little bit, but he's still by far the most in every game. And so the team as a whole did have control of the face-off dot uh, and the puck. So there's one positive number out of this mess.
It was a better game. I mean, the Oilers played pretty well, Bruce, and they got the loser point. I'm going to sneak in another
Yeah.
number. That's 5. That was the 5 seconds that an Anaheim defenseman had a grip on Patrick Russell's stick without a penalty being called. California, man. California.
Yeah.
Who are they playing tomorrow night? Is it San Jose?
They're playing Las
Vegas?
Vegas.
Oh, Vegas tomorrow night.
So they have to fly into
Oh,
Vegas and
man.
then play there. Vegas has won 6 in a row, and Oilers have won 6 in a row on their back-to-backs. So we'll see what happens tomorrow on their seventh back-to-back of the season. But Vegas is hot, and they got a new goalie to roll out there, Robin Leonard. We might see him. I was a little surprised Smith played tonight. I'm still assuming they're going to split these two games and that Koskinen will go tomorrow. But I just would have guessed they would have given Smith the extra day and saved him for the Vegas game since he won in there last time. But still be very surprised if Tippett went back to Smith tomorrow night. That would be that.
Well, Smith was good tonight, but he wasn't great. I mean, he was okay. The first goal was a stinker.
4 goals on 21 shots.
Yeah, 4 goals on 11 grade A scoring chances. That's not great work. Yeah, exactly, Bruce. Exactly.
He did make one great stop with about 1:30 to go in
Yeah,
regulation when Michael Del Zotto skated right past Connor McDavid to the edge of the crease for what would have been an absolute killer, devastating goal to give up. At least in overtime, you give up that goal, it's a pain in the ass, but you've got your 1 point. To give up one at the end of regulation, it's just kicking the junk.
And kudos for Drew Remenda for actually pointing out McDavid.
Mm-hmm.
As many defensive woes as McDavid and Draisaitl have had this year, they don't often get talked about on the regular broadcast. It's not something that people tend to mention. So we make up for it, Bruce. We make up for it here. That's our peculiar role in the Oiler ecosphere, Oilogosphere.
We know that every player on the team hangs on our every word, right? But I mean, we've got to call them as we see them. Otherwise, what's the point of doing this?
Well, that's right. And
if the team was perfect, they'd be 63-0-0, and they're not the last time I checked.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty, you got the game grades?
Well, I'm partway through. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Going to be fairly sharp and to the point tonight, I think, because there's not a lot to take away from that game, really. Like, it wasn't one that'll go down in the annals of time.
Well, it was a really great addition for the new top line. For a second top line on the team. Bruce, if Yamamoto comes back and we get these two lines rolling, this is going to be a hockey team.
It just seems so unfair. They finally got the guys they've been waiting for to flesh out the top six, and Yamamoto, who came close to, single-handedly turning the season around. Like, he came in game 42, and they went 11-5-3, 13-5-3 during his 21 games. And to lose him, I mean, his whole line seemed to be down the court tonight in terms of their inspiration and their hustle and their.
Oh, by the way, I did a poll on whether it should be called the dry line or the Yamamoto line, or the dry line or the dynamite line.
Mm-hmm.
So because I hear both, and I was just trying to settle this once and for all, and I put the poll out just before I hadn't read the tweet Yamamoto was injured anyway, so not great timing. But anyway, I put it out, and there's been more than 1,000 voters at this point. Bruce, it is a dead heat.
Yeah.
It was like 50-50 at one point after about 800 votes. Now I think it's about 51-49. So it's an oil country divided on this crucial question. So you might have the deciding vote.
Well, they both have their charms.
They do. Okay. Thanks for talking tonight, Bruce.
Yeah, thanks for listening, everyone.
And in the meantime and in between times, this has been another edition of the Cult of Hockey podcast.